Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you saw by the title, today I am doing a review and a little demo tutorial on the new Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star Conspiracy palette. I absolutely love Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. I think Jeffree Star is hilarious. Shane Dawson is just a genuine person, and I was so excited when I first knew about this collab. And I knew that as soon as it was coming out, I was getting it no matter what it looked like, because I wanted to support the two of them, especially Shane Dawson, because this is something very different for him to be doing. Now, I know that most people who have gotten the palette probably followed along with the series, and it was really cool to be able to do that and kind of see the whole creation of this palette, see the different steps it took, and some of like the prototypes and what the palette could have been, and then seeing the final result. It just was such a cool series, and I really loved it as a makeup lover. So I did get it the day it released. We, thank God, have a Morphe store at the mall that I work at. And if it wasn't for that, I probably would not have been able to get the palette, because I was working the day it released and I wasn't off until 2. The palette launched at 11 my time. I was working and it was sold out. Like, by the time I was done work, Morphe's website was sold out, Jeffree Star's website was sold out. So my only option was going to the Morphe store. They had quite a big stock, which was great. It was a 2-hour wait in line for a lot of people. Because I went a little bit later, I didn't have to wait so long. But yeah, people were waiting 2 hours in line for this launch. It was such a huge launch, and it's just so amazing, and I just want to say congratulations. The only thing I picked up was the palette, but that was the thing that I was the most excited about. This outer packaging, so cool. I love it. So we're just gonna kind of dive in. I'm just gonna give you like a little review, kind of a first impressions review on it. This is my first time using it today, and I created this look with it, so you guys will also get to see how I created this look. I kept it kind of simple. I just kind of wanted to try out some of the shades and see how they worked, but we're just gonna get right into it. So opening this guy up, it just slides out, and there is the beautiful palette. So it is like a similar design to his like Blood Sugar and Blue Blood palette, except it's kind of like more raised. I really love this packaging. I think it is so cool. There's a lot of detail to it, a lot of different textures. I really like it. It's a very well-made palette, and it feels like just good quality. It feels like something you'd want to invest your money in. I'm really happy with this packaging. I would say the only downfall to it is the fact that, you know, because it is like kind of raised like that, it might be a little bit harder to store. It's a little bit bulky, but I do like it. So it just opens up with the little clasps here, and then it just pulls open like that. There is the palette, so you do get a mirror in here, which is nice. It does lay back like that as well. And then there is all of the shades. Now, if I'm being honest, if it wasn't for the fact that this was a collab with Shane Dawson, I probably would have skipped out on the palette, only because I have so many palettes, and there's nothing in this palette that's like really unique or really special that draws me to it, that I'm like, okay, like that I can spend my money on. I did 100% buy this because of Shane Dawson's name, and I wanted to support him. However, it is a beautiful palette. It's a palette that I will use. I do like the shades in it. I just don't need it because I have so many eyeshadow palettes with the same kind of tones. But kind of putting that thought aside, I think he did a really good job on the color scheme of this palette. I feel like there's a little bit of everything for everyone. You have this whole top row, which is like full of like neutrals. You can create very simple, everyday kind of looks with those tones for like the everyday person. You have this middle row, which is a really fun row, lots of pretty pink colors and some brighter colors. And then this last row is a little bit on the deeper side, a little bit on the cooler side as well. And I think there's just a little bit of everything. So I think no matter what kind of tones or colors you're into, I feel like this is a palette that you'll be able to get use out of, even if you don't like every single shade in it. So if you are someone who just wants to support Shane Dawson but don't want to waste your money, I feel like this will cater to a very wide variety of people. I like the way that they did the layout, because I do feel Like it's a very easy palette to use for beginners as well. It's not kind of all over the place where it's like you don't know what tones go with what. I really like the detail that was put into this and how every pan is imprinted with a little design. I really like his names as well. Like they're very much him. If you've watched him for quite a while, like you know kind of the story behind all of these names, or you know that there's names or that they're words that he says a lot. The palette itself I really like. It really intrigues me. It's very pretty. It's well designed. The packaging is really nice. I have no complaints about anything to do with the palette. I definitely have lots more playing around to do with this palette. I've only used 6 shades so far. I do want to kind of branch out and like play with some of these more cooler tones, the ones that I don't typically reach for, and try those out. But from the shades that I did use, I have no complaints. I have used Jeffree Star's shadows in the past. I have 2 palettes from him, and he has a really great shadow formula. This lives up to those standards. I had no issues with it. There was no blending issues. As you guys would have seen, there was pretty much no fallout. The only time I got a little bit of fallout was with this shade, but after I had been packing it on and like blending and packing it on. But initially, no fallout. Everything went on very pigmented. Everything was easy to blend. I just have no complaints. I really love this eye look. I did a typical kind of me look with the pinks and purples. So yeah, I have no complaints about this palette. I really like this. I'm glad that I picked it up. So happy for Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. I think they did such a wonderful job on this palette. If you didn't get your hands on this palette, I'm sure they will end up doing a restock because this was a huge hit. They sold out and it was a crazy launch. So I'm sure eventually at some point they will do a restock. So definitely stay up to date on that if you're interested in getting this palette if you haven't already. Also call your Morphe stores, see if they have any left. I know that mine was saying that they should be able to last throughout the weekend. So just call in case any of them have some like leftover stock. But anyways, that is kind of my little review on the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star palette. It lived up to my expectations for sure. I don't regret buying it, even though it's not a palette that I really needed to spend my money on. I don't regret it. They did such a well job on this collab, and I really loved being able to kind of come along on the journey with them and seeing the whole process of it. It was very cool, and it makes this palette so much more like just special, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of my review on the palette. So if you want to see how I created this very simple but very pretty look, we'll just get right into that, so keep watching. Okay, so I did my face off camera because I just want to focus on the palette for this video. So my lids are primed. We're going to go right into the beautiful palette here. So I'm sure you guys can guess, but we are going to be going in with more of the like pink and red tones because that's kind of my favorite colors to work with. I think the first shade that I'm going to go in with is called Pigment here. I'm going to take this on a smaller kind of crease brush and just pack that right into the crease. Before actually I continue with that, I'm going to take a little bit of loose setting powder and just put it on my under eyes because since I did do my face makeup first, I don't want there to be any fallout that ruins it. I'm also going to take it and put it like right on the outer corner like this. And this will just kind of create a guideline of where I want the eyeshadow to come out to. I'm going to take that shade on a bigger, fluffier brush, and I'm just going to kind of blend it up now. Like I need it. And you may have some history. On another small detailed brush, I'm going to go into the shade Flaming Hot here. And this one I'm going to put directly into the crease. I'm not going to bring this one up like I did with Pigment. Just right here and just kind of add like that depth to the crease. And then just going back into Pigment just to kind of blend those two colors together. Next I'm taking Not a Fact, this nice deep like purple, and I'm going to apply this in my outer corner. So I have that purple on now. I'm going to go back into Flaming Hot which is the red, and just kind of blend out this area. Okay, so I'm now gonna go into Trisha and apply this on the rest of the lid. So I'm gonna take my pills, which is like this light kind of pinky cream color. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this around the edges here. This is what I do just to kind of make sure that the eyeshadow is really blended out. And then I'm gonna highlight my brow bone using Ranch here. If you did notice, there was practically zero fallout with any of those shades. I had a little tiny bit of fallout on the purple shade. It was after when I went in on the last time just to touch it up. There's a little bit. I did wet my brush using Trisha and Ranch just because they're metallic shades, and I always do. That's just my preference. So there wasn't any fallout with those because of that reason. But basically I'm going to be doing the same thing. So I'm going to go into Pigment, the first shade that we took on the lid. And then on a flat detail brush like this, I'm going in with Flaming Hot and applying this right along the lash line. I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried. And going back into Pigment just to lightly blend that out. The only one. No one likes being lied to. And then going back into Not a Fact, the deep purple, and just applying that in the very outer corner. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. And for a little bit of fun, I'm actually gonna take Food Vibes, this really bright neon yellow, and I'm gonna put this on my inner corner as my highlight. I just really love like yellow and pink together. I think it looks really good. So that is the look. I'm just gonna quickly finish up the eyes off camera and I'll be right back. So the look is finally done. I did add a little bit of like glitter liner in the crease just to kind of spice it up a little bit. I just used an Urban Decay glitter liner. All the products that I used will be listed down below since we just kind of focused on the eyeshadow in this tutorial today. But yeah, if you guys want to see like more tutorials with this palette, or if you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one.